Hey everyone, welcome back and happy Thursday. All right, guys, so thank you to everyone who joined us last night for our Vanderpump Rules after party with Jason. We had the best time that was on Up and Adam channel 2, our messy little sister channel. Now, today we have a very special guest joining us for a slightly earlier Vanderpump Rules recap. It's a full recap at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I will put the banner up and pin the link in the comments. Now, before we get into the full recap, though, we're back to talk about Sheena's very interesting Watch What Happens Live appearance. She said a lot, she spoke about a lot, and also this was her first time back on Watch What Happens Live since the alleged hit, which we're going to address. Now, before we jump in, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Okay, guys, so we're back to talk about Sheena's Watch What Happens Live appearance because this was interesting to say the least. Now, Sheena went on Watch What Happens Live right after this episode, and of course, she's speaking about the Sandoval of it all. She had a lot to say, actually. Now, again, we're going to be getting into all of this during the full recap, but just a few things. Now, in last night's episode, Ali ends up mentioning, and Jason kept asking me the whole time last night, when are we actually going to start hearing about the affair? When is this going to happen? Like, let's move this along. And I'm like, you got to be patient. There's a whole story unfolding here. And bada bing, bada boom, that's exactly what we got. James' girlfriend, Ali Luber, she ended up saying that she saw Tom and Raquel at the Abbey at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they looked pretty comfortable, which gave her red flags. She said that she would not be comfortable with that situation. And she ended up telling the group, which would be Lala, Christina Kelly, and also Katie, when she was over at Lala's house talking about her birthday party. So when she planted that seed, of course, we saw last night where they were actually at Lala's birthday party. And Katie ended up saying a few things about Raquel, and Tom Sandoval didn't like it. And he's like, you're really enjoying this, aren't you? You really enjoy, like, pretty much saying that she's vindictive, that she's just a mean girl. And she was like, you enjoy Raquel as well, don't you? I think you do. I think you enjoy hanging out with her at the Abbey at 1 o'clock in the morning. And he goes, what the are you talking about, man? But total deflection, if we've ever seen deflection before, which I'm not surprised by that, Tom Sandoval. I'm not surprised. But Sheena did admit to flipping out and throwing Raquel's phone and shoving her, but she said, I did not hit her. As you can see, my nails, I didn't even, like, I'm not able to make a fist. What are you talking about? Hit her. I didn't hit her. I don't know why the New Jersey came out, but I guess it's because it's Thursday and today is the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion. I was about to say recap, but that was yesterday. Today's just the reunion. But hold on, it keeps going. Sheena was then asked about the mental health facility that Raquel is allegedly at. And she said, well, that's interesting to me because I don't know things. I'm just speculating, but I heard she was at a 5-star resort. The resort being a med spa, a place, well, that is maybe helpful to relax and keep your mental state calm, but it's definitely not a mental health facility. You can't drink at mental health facilities. You're not usually riding horseback at mental health facilities. There aren't psychics, mediums, astrologers. There aren't dietitians. There's not somebody coming to your room cooking for you. There's just not all of the things. There's not what? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And then I love that Tom Sandoval goes out and blasts Miraval for making the post that they did on social media, which they didn't actually say he was coming, but we knew he was going to be there on Monday. So instead, he ended up flying to Tucson, Arizona. And who lives in Tucson? Raquel. Her parents have a home in Tucson. That's where they were hiding out for quite some time. So he said he was going there to focus on himself. He wasn't going there to see Raquel. But also when he went to St. Louis and when he went to a few other places for Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras, he was flying out and sometimes she was staying in hotel rooms because he didn't want her to be photographed at these events. So doesn't that make you question a little bit? I mean, for me, it does a little bit. I don't think Tom Sandoval realizes how smart the fans are because why else randomly Tucson, Arizona? Why don't you go to Hawaii? Why don't you go to Mexico? Why don't you go to Santa Barbara? Why don't you go to Palm Springs? What? We're not buying it. Okay. It keeps going. She was then asked about Brock and Raquel, and she said she questioned him. Actually, she said a few interesting things about this part because there was a rumor that Raquel and Brock hooked up, and she said, I absolutely did question him. And because after all of the Tom Sandoval and Raquel stuff, which I didn't think was true, I obviously had to ask. And he said, absolutely not. But as a follow up question, I asked, did she ever try? Okay. Now, as much as I trust my husband, I don't trust that hoe. He said no. He said he never put energy off, that kind of energy off, as we all know Sandoval did. The rumor began to swirl on social media after Sheena slammed Raquel for hooking up all over her and Davey's apartment. The Shenanigans podcast host explained that she let her former pal crash at her place after Raquel ended her engagement to James Kennedy. I remember her telling me that I was supposed to be happy for her the first time that she had sex after James. But when she asked Raquel if she had sex in her condo, she said, oops, yes, I did. I had sex in your condo. Later on, Sheena said on her podcast that Raquel admitted to hooking up in her bed and on the kitchen counter. And I was like, where I set my baby's high chair and feed her? I gave you this apartment to live in, not to have sex all over. Well, that didn't age well. Sheena did it. But wait, hold on. It keeps going. Now, there were photos that surfaced of Tom Sandoval and Billy Lee, and everybody's had questions about this because everyone was kind of wondering why. Why are they running around? And I thought that that was a pretty fair question. Well, Sheena believes that it's absolutely shady, and a lot of people believe Billy Lee's just trying to get on the show, and Tom Sandoval very much so right now needs an ally, just like Katie needed an ally, and that was the reason they brought Christina Kelly back after, 7 seasons? I mean, I know you guys can do the math, but one thing that I thought was positive is she did say that she loves Daniel Way. And when Andy Cohen asked, are Daniel and Ariana dating? She was like, I love Daniel. I love Daniel. I love Daniel. But the one thing that I found interesting about all of this was she said that she doesn't believe that Tom and Raquel are in love and that their relationship is just an infatuation that was birthed out of cheating. She said that she's already heard that it's very toxic, which we are putting a poll on one of our community tabs today, either Up and Atom or Up and Atom 2. Go vote in the poll because we're asking you, what do you think the timeline of this relationship is going to be? And yes, does that sound a little bit shady? 100%. But at this point, this whole thing is shady. Sheena said that Tom and Raquel, when asked about this mob mentality going after them, she said they deserve all of the shit that they're getting. And Michael Rappaport did not agree, but I'm also thinking about it in my head. Sheena literally had to go through this temporary restraining order. She had a false police report filed against her. She had to go to the courthouse. She had her name reamed through social media. So if you're asking anyone to give a little sympathy, empathy, she's probably the wrong person to ask right now, people. I think that makes perfect sense. Now, I don't know what else there is to talk about as far as the Watch What Happens Live interview, but she did say too that I thought this was interesting, that she never heard about Tom trying to break up with Ariana because Tom noted this on the Howie Mandel podcast episode interview that he did. And he said, I've been trying to break up with Ariana. But Sheena was like, I never heard that. And I'm curious if we're going to get to the bottom of that during the reunion. Guys, I have so many questions to which I need so many answers, but like it says on the banner below, join us for our Vanderpump Rules recap today at 11 a.m. Eastern with our very special guest, and I will pin the link in the comment section. I love you guys so much. We're going to go get ready for the recap, and we'll see you so very soon. Bye, guys.